Welcome to our Flavours of Florida masterclass. I'm currently in Crystal River, a gorgeous coastal town on the west coast of the Sunshine State, known for its natural springs and the fantastic manatee experiences that visitors can have here. But I've also heard that Crystal River has a fantastic culinary scene, so I've tracked down a couple of locals to talk about the foodie experiences and culinary hotspots that your foodie clients are sure to enjoy. So Rick, what makes the Waterfront Social one of the best places to eat in Crystal River?
We offer fresh, locally sourced ingredients like our grouper and mahi and everything else is locally sourced that we do as best we can to get as fresh as possible. A must-try starter for our visitors here would probably be calamari, or especially gator bites, because the gator is locally sourced also, so it's a local Florida favorite.
Are there any kind of ethical or sustainability concerns around eating gator?
No, there isn't. It's all farm raised here locally in Florida, and it is sustainably, done through farming and everything else. So it's not wild gator or anything else. The diet is specific, so it comes across as clean and very, very good to eat. So.
Are there any other regional dishes that visitors might want to try while they're here?
It's mostly just the seafood is what people come for. That's really what people come for is the seafood because it's fresh, it's local. Everything comes from the Gulf right here, so everything is great and fresh. So.
And what about the main course menu? What are the highlights on that?
Obviously the grouper, all of our fish is the highlights are our mahi tacos, our grouper dinner, our salmon dinner too, and basically all the seafood is really what's highlighted here. So.
Now, I spotted key lime pie is on the dessert menu. Am I right in thinking that's a regional specialty?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Very much so. All through Florida, all the way down to the Keys where it originated is definitely a Florida favorite. So.
Is here one of the best places to eat?
Oh, definitely. Definitely.
Can I try some of your lovely food now?
Oh, yes, you can. You definitely can. Come on back here and eat. Let's go.
Fantastic. Let's go.
All right.
So Kayla, scalloping sounds like a fantastic way to spend the day here in Crystal River. Can you tell us a little bit about the tours that you offer and what visitors can expect when they do come to visit?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's really up to you what time you want to go. We have 2 tours that leave every day for that. We have an 8 a.m. tour and a 1 o'clock tour. Both of the trips are about 4 to 5 hours, and it gives you just enough time to get what you need to eat for dinner.
And are there any skills that are required to do the tours, or is there an age limit?
There's not really an age limit or skills that are required. We do want you to be comfortable in the water. It's best if you know how to swim. You don't need to be a frequent swimmer by any means, but as long as you can float around and maybe go down every now and then and pick up a shell, you'll be fine.
And am I right in thinking it's snorkeling rather than diving?
Absolutely, yeah. The water depth where we're scalloping is about 6 to 8 feet, so it's not too deep.
And what's the typical group size?
So those boats hold up to average 4 people, but we can take 6 people. You just have to keep in mind that your limit, your harvest limit for that is 2 gallons per person or 10 gallons max.
What happens to the scallops once they've been harvested?
So you can bring them back here to the dock, and we have a little group that will clean them for you. It usually takes them about an hour, gives you just enough time to go shower, get warmed up, dried off, and then you come back and they have them harvested in the bag for you.
And is there a scalloping season or a busier time of year? Are there some months that it might be tricky to get booked onto a tour because you're so busy, or is it quite wide open?
Well, not necessarily. So our scallop season here is July 1st through September 24th. You're not usually going to find scallops outside of that season, so that's why we recommend that time frame. As far as harvesting them, that's when it is allowed. But I would say the busiest time would be the first couple weeks when the season opens after July 1st. But I would recommend coming towards the end of July or early August.
Some travel agents who have eco-conscious clients might be a little bit concerned about sustainability of scalloping, but I have heard that scalloping is one of the most sustainable harvesting methods for seafood. Can you tell us a little bit about why that is?
So with scalloping, the way that they reproduce is they are releasing millions of eggs along our healthy seagrass flats. And those eggs are then growing and they're reproducing on their own, and that happens all throughout the season. So they are self reproducing. They're bringing back millions of eggs every year. So it doesn't tend to be an issue, and the state does do a great job of making sure that the harvest limits are within reason. And like I said, it gives you just enough to eat dinner, but still respecting the limits for them.
And how how are you making sure that the scallops aren't over harvested here?
I mean, like I said, that those laws are put in place by the state, and it's a very strict limit. You know, even the group here that will harvest them for you will only take the limit that you catch. That's it.
And what are your top selling tips for travel agents looking to book scalloping for their clients? Do you have any insider knowledge that they might benefit from knowing?
Not necessarily, just have fun with it. You know, the cool thing about scalloping is you never know what you're going to see out there. There's seahorses, there's starfish, there's turtles. I see a lot of turtles. So it's really cool. It's easy to get distracted when you're looking for the scallops. There's plenty of other things to look at. As far as the equipment, if you have something that you're comfortable with, you're more than welcome to bring your own mask and snorkel, but we provide that for you.
Great. Thank you so much for your time today. It's been fascinating to learn about scalloping.
Yeah, absolutely. I hope we have you here this summer.
The Plantation Adventure Centre doesn't just offer scalloping experiences. You can of course go on manatee tours as well. So while I was here, I couldn't resist jumping on a boat to go and see these gentle giants. So I've heard from a chef and a scalloping captain. I'm now with Alyssa from Discover Crystal River, who's going to tell us more about the destination's restaurants.
Discover Crystal River is the tourism board for all of Citrus County, and especially Crystal River and Homosassa have a ton of wonderful restaurants with a lot of variety. So today we're at Waterfront Social. They serve classic, fantastic seafood in a locale that's right on the water. And we just talked to the manager and he said that occasionally you can even see manatees right from the table. So that's pretty cool.
Amazing.
There's also Seafood Cellar. That is also in Crystal River. It has a Cajun flair. They have Cajun seafood, a little bit of spice, and they also serve Cajun desserts like the famous beignet that's out of New Orleans. If you go a little bit further, about 10 minutes away, you hit Homosassa, which is basically a working fisherman's village. And there's a great food truck there called Wild Sassa. And it's on a working wharf. And they are known for their seafood tacos. I just ate there yesterday. And they have tuna tacos, shrimp tacos, and steak tacos, and other delicious stuff. But they're highly prized in the area. And across the way on that same wharf is Shelley's Seafood. And the cool thing about that place is they sell fresh seafood. So your visitors, if you're visiting the area, you can actually call ahead and find out what the catch of the day is, because their boats come in every couple of days and they'll come in with a different fish. They also make their own homemade crab dip and other goodies in their refrigerated section. But the nice thing about that is you can go there, get fresh seafood, and if you're staying in the area and you have a kitchen, you can prepare it yourself at home. Another place that's one of my favorites is called Wallace's at the Greenhouse, and it's actually a green restaurant. They have a Caribbean flair. They have a lot of coconut and honey and jasmine and different flavors, but their food's amazing. It's also backed up to the Halls River, a beautiful location, and you can actually launch kayaks from there. You have to talk to the owners and get all the details, but you can go there, launch your kayak, go kayaking, and come back for a great lunch or dinner at Wallace's. Another area that I want to mention is downtown Main Street in Crystal River. There's a wonderful steak and prime rib place. It's called Kane's Cattle Company, and they are known for fabulous meat. and delicacies. So that's a wonderful place. And almost across the street from there is called Amy's on the Avenue, and they are known for their breakfast and lunch, and they have a lovely patio that's very cute. It's kind of like a French little bistro back there. They also sell souvenirs and goodies, and they have a wine bar, a coffee bar, and also homemade chocolates. So I highly suggest that anyone visiting the area stop in there. Right near there, actually across the street, is an area called Heritage Village. And this place has a plethora of cute shops for souvenir hunting and wonderful breakfast and lunch places. There's a cute restaurant called the Tea House, and also cattle dog roasters, and there's barbecues. There's a lot there to explore, and tons of wonderful gift shops. That's a great place to get your souvenirs. The other thing I want to mention for visitors coming to Crystal River and the surrounding areas is a few ice cream shops. We have a new one called Guerre's. I think it's French, and they serve donuts with ice cream. It's a specialty shop. It's right in downtown Crystal River. It's actually close to Amy's and to Kane's Cattle Company. And the other place that is one of my favorites, because I love soft serve, is a place called Tasty Treat. And they have kind of a two-story sized sculpture of a soft serve cone. It's great for kids, but it's also great for adults. They're open till about 9, so you can have dinner, relax and rest, and then go out again and get a wonderful soft serve. And it's, you know, most of the time the weather is beautiful in Crystal River, so 9 o'clock or 8:30 is going to be just perfect.
I'm absolutely gutted that I haven't got enough time to visit all these places on this visit.
Well, you have to come back.
I was going to say, I think it's time to book a second trip. So there you have it. Crystal River doesn't just offer fantastic manatee experiences, it's got a great culinary scene too. There's plenty to sink your teeth into here, and with Crystal River only a 1-hour drive from Tampa, it's easily accessible for the UK market. Hello, it's time for a live Q&A with Terry from Crystal River and Jill from Visit Florida. Thanks for joining to both of you.
Yeah, thank you.
Hi.
Great. So if you have any questions about Floridian food, culinary scene, gastronomy, or more generally about Crystal River, please do pop them in the chat box. Terry, I thought I'd begin by asking about the plantation as an accommodation option, because that is where the Plantation Adventure Centre is from. It's where you can do the scalloping tours and manatee tours from. What else can you tell us about this particular hotel, and also other accommodation options that might be in the area for visitors wanting to try some of the great cuisine and other activities?
Yeah, absolutely. The plantation is actually a really neat place. Plantation part refers mostly to the architecture. It was never a plantation, a working plantation, but they have everything you need there. So if you put us on the end of a fly drive or anything like that, you go there and you can just relax after all the craziness of some other destinations, and you can kind of feel yourself just go at ease. There's a giant pool, tiki bar, golf course, restaurants. It's really just a great place to end a fly drive. But as far as other places we have the Best Western Hotel. And then we have some more economy-based hotels such as Hampton Inn and Holiday Inn Express as well.
Fantastic. Thank you. Now, Jill, more generally about Florida cuisine. I know Dana mentioned yesterday that the Michelin Guide has been in the state. But just in case no one managed to join that session, are you able to just tell us briefly about their findings and kind of what awards they've been giving the restaurant?
Yeah, it's a really exciting project, actually. It's a two-year project. So last year they started visiting, what a great job, visiting cities across Florida. So they went to Tampa, Miami and Orlando and reviewed lots of our restaurants. I think that's definitely the next job for me after visiting Florida. Mind you, my waistline might not take it. So yeah, and they launched in June of last year. They launched the first their first findings, if you like. So if you went onto the Michelin Guide website, which is guide.michelin.com, and you can filter there. You just put Florida in there, and it will come up with all the restaurants that they've reviewed. So they've given 118 restaurants in Florida their seal of approval. And those 118 restaurants, they cover over 35 different cuisines. So it's not just a case of, it's not just white tablecloths and waiters with bow ties on. They've across those 118 that they've reviewed, sorry, I have to keep looking down at my notes because there's so many numbers. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
But 15 restaurants have been given stars. So we have in Miami, we have 10 one-star restaurants and 1 2-star restaurants. In Orlando, we have 4 1-stars. And then the other, but what 1 and 2-star Michelin star restaurants are going to be expensive. But what the really cool thing is, they also have this registration called Bib Gourmand. And what Michelin do is they award bibs, as in the bib that I would need if I was going to a restaurant. And I think Terry's probably seen me wear a bib at one of the restaurants in Crystal River. It's another story. But anyway, so they award bibs to restaurants or establishments that offer good quality and good value. And in the US, that means that a diner can get 2 courses. Two courses plus a glass of wine or a dessert for less than $49. And all of those restaurants are listed on this website. So it's really, really cool. If you've got somebody who really likes their food, but they don't want, they haven't got the sort of money, I don't have the sort of money to dine in a Michelin star restaurant, you can still get those recommendations. So I would really recommend. Oh, brilliant! And Sarah's put the link on. Get on there and have a look. And there's, like I say, from the 2-star restaurant in Miami, which is a place called L'Atelier by Joel Rebouchon. Get that? I've managed to pronounce it. And that's a French restaurant. To somewhere like there's a ramen bar in Tampa called Ichikoro Ramen, and that has a Bib Gourmand registration. So really, really varied and really exciting, and they're still out there now, so they're adding new restaurants to the website all the time.
Okay, and this is probably an impossible question to answer, but what's your favorite foodie spot in Florida, Jill?
That is an impossible thing to answer. I've got so many lovely spots, actually, but let me have a think. So I would say if I was in Orlando, I'd probably have brunch at Boca Social, which is on iDrive. If I was on the West Coast, sorry, you didn't think you were going to get a list like this, were you? But if I was on the West Coast, I'd go to Anna Maria Island and have a drink at the Sandbar. It's right on the beach. You can see the sunset. And every night they do a sweepstake of what time to the second the sun's going to set. So you all have to put it down, and then and whoever wins gets a round of drinks on the house. So that's really cool as well. I was in a lovely restaurant in Crystal River last week with Terry, a place called the Plantation on Fifth. No, it wasn't called that. The Vintage
on Fifth, yeah.
The Vintage on Fifth, sorry. And that was gorgeous. Real southern fare. Beautiful, beautiful food and wonderful wine pairings. I mean, what's not to love about something like that? So wherever you go, honestly, you're going to get fantastic food. I've only had an apple to eat today, and I'm talking about food. It's actually making me hungry.
Oh, no. I have to go grab some food after we finish this session, Jill. Terry, what about you? Do you have a favourite foodie hotspot in Crystal River? I know we've heard lots in the masterclass, but have you got a personal favourite?
I've got a couple. I think in Crystal River, my favorite is the Waterfront Social where you were. Just the view. It's amazing food. The owner of that restaurant also owns another one that's here, and he came from the W Hotel as an executive chef. So the food quality is just outstanding. And Homosassa, there's a place called The Freezer, and it's a little, used to be a freezer where they held fresh fish that came in fresh, and shrimp was the main product. So their boiled shrimp there is world famous. So I recommend that for sure.
Okay, amazing. And are there any upcoming events or festivals or product launches in Crystal River that would be good for agents to have on their radar?
Yeah, absolutely. In every November, we have the manatee or the stone crab festival, which is a delicacy that only comes around seasonally, and that's amazing. Great stone crab, fresh with all sorts of booths with vendors and crafts and art and live entertainment. And then another seafood festival we have is in October, and that is the Seafood Festival, and that's over in Ozello, which is also part of our county. Gosh, there's so many, and I would encourage the agents to look on our visitors guide, digital version available on the website, and look there for our listing of events, because there really is just always something going on here.
Great. And am I right in thinking it's stone crab season now?
Stone crab season is ending. Yeah, is ending this month.
I think when I was there last month, there was stone crab season. I tasted some. I can definitely recommend trying that.
Yeah, it starts fortunate for me, the weekend before my birthday. So it starts in October and it goes until March.
Right. Okay. Fantastic. And Jill, I know that Florida is great for brewery and distillery tours, as well as lots of great food. Are you able to highlight any particular of these types of experiences that would be great to add to an itinerary?
Yeah, I mean, there's, I think it's over 200 breweries across Florida. So, and I'm not a massive beer drinker, but if you like citrusy sort of drinks, the brewers in Florida, are they called brewers? I think they're called brewers, aren't they?
Yeah.
They get very, very passionate about the local ingredients. So you get these really lovely citrusy lagers and IPAs. And as I say, there are breweries everywhere that you go. But the Gulf Coast particularly, so Tampa, Clearwater, St. Pete's, they've got a trail over there which has got over, I think it's over 70 breweries, and they've renamed it the Gulf Coast with a P rather than the Gulf Coast. And you can do tours, obviously transport provided, where you can go hop on and hop off the bus and go and visit lots of different breweries. But yeah, a couple of my favourites, Cigar City in Tampa. That's a really cool brewery where you can go and do a tasting. If we've got some not old people, but people that did our very first original Florida Fest, they maybe will have done the tasting from Cigar City, which we did back in 2020, I think. Gosh. But there's another really cool brewery I like is called Proof, and that's in Tallahassee, which is the state capital. Again, up there, live music every night. It's just a really laid back vibe up there, and more beers than you could ever even imagine. I love Florida. Everything's bigger and better. So you go and you're like overwhelmed by the choice of what there is there. And then last week, I keep dropping it in, sorry, but I was in Florida, not last week, the week before. We went to a place called the Bricks Project, which was the Playa Linda Brewing Company in Titusville. And again, fantastic food there as well, but really, really lovely beers and quirky names and funny, things with a bit of personality. That was great. Yeah. And just to add to it all as well, we got to see a rocket launch from the brewery, so that was something a little bit unique. That was cool as well. So wherever you go, you're going to find a really cool brewery with some lovely drinks as well. And then if beers wasn't enough, we also have some great distilleries now as well. So we've got gins, vodkas, whiskies coming out of Florida as well. A couple of places where I think about looking at that would be maybe St. Augustine. They have a distillery. And then down in Bradenton, there's one called the Loaded Cannon. And both of those do tastings and tours. So, yeah, you're never going to be short of something to drink in Florida.
Amazing. I'm sure the Brits will be thrilled to hear that. We've got a couple of comments here from Kathleen saying they love Jai Lai.
Oh yeah, and that's got a really weird pronunciation. I always say Jai Lai, but it's
High Lai.
Was it High Lai? Is it? Yeah.
High Lai. Mm-hmm.
High Lai. There we go.
Great. And Cigar City as well. Laura loved going there. That's great. Just before we wrap up, because we are running out of time, Terry, is there anything else that you'd like to tell agents about selling Crystal River at the moment, either for gastronomic purposes or otherwise?
Well, I mean, obviously we have a great food scene, and Maddie, you did a great job showing that off for us. So thank you. But these guys behind me are the real main attraction. And if you ever get the opportunity to come and swim with manatees, it's a very sustainable, very friendly. We're very cautious and protective of our manatees. You're in their territory. It's not contrived. And it's an experience you will never forget and you will talk about forever.
Great. Well, thank you very much to you both for your time. I'll wrap it up there. I've just got a few things to note before everyone heads off to get their well-deserved teas and dinners after sitting through so much culinary content. But thank you everyone for tuning in to day 2 of TTG Florida Fest. And before you go, don't forget to answer the quiz questions in the polls tab for the chance to win a twin send holiday to Tampa Bay and Clearwater. And don't forget as well, when you visit the photo booth and take a selfie and share it on social media, that does count as an extra entry into the competition, and it's plenty of fun too. The partner rooms are all still open in the virtual lobby, so we do encourage you to take a look in there for marketing collateral and additional information. It's also a great way to make connections with the different Florida destinations we're showcasing this week. So that's all for today. We will see you back here at 2 o'clock tomorrow for our training day. I'll pop on in the morning and give you a brief run through of that in the morning. Afternoon, tomorrow afternoon as well. So enjoy your evenings and we'll see you then. Thank you again, Jill and Terry.
No problem.
Thank you.
Take care.